Hi everybody, this is False Goddess, and here we have our video of Tidal Basin Legendary, the final encounter. Due to a lot of frustration running the really weak strategy of hiding in the room and using sneak seekers or snipers and trying to out-heal the damage, we decided to devote a lot of time to figuring out a very suitable strategy. And what we've come up with was this. Now, as you can see, utilizing this strategy, we ran to the back right corner of the room by a missile launcher. Originally, we were intending to run around the outer edges to get to this location, but we realized due to the amount of time to get there, that the enemies were a little more situated than we could get, and it really led to a lot of problems. What we ended up deciding was to utilize 3 decoys, one at the very beginning, one about halfway through, and another just before we got to the ending part where we had to hop up. This allowed us the ability to get there in this clip. We didn't exactly all make it alive, at least one of us did, but this position is so perfect that we did not have to worry about anyone coming up, rushing us too fast. There's enough coverage from grenades, from the launcher being right in front of them, that we really didn't have to worry about that too much. We were able to res comfortably, and as you can tell, I then went ahead and continued just past the launcher and jumped down to the very back right corner. Now, in the position that I'm currently at, it was perfection. I literally had clear line of sight on both spawn points for all the enemies. I was able to make call-outs of priority targets, such as focusing down the medics, droners. A Chunga is not a priority target, no matter how big and bad he looks. And from this location, we really locked it down. A little side note, if you pop your head upwards under that cover, the turret closest to us can actually get you. However, if you fire off the side, you're in good shape. And here in the clip, you see I did have to move momentarily, and I was kind of just trying to figure out if there was any other cover in that corner besides that, and this kind of worked as well. It's not perfect, but it does reduce significantly the damage you're taking from the enemies. The only damage I took was what you saw there, and that was from a Chunga who basically got spawn locked right where he was coming out and fired at me from above. Alrighty, so about at this point, we're pretty much 3/4 of the way through, and as you can tell, we weren't perfect, so some of those medics did get by, had a couple of stations put down. We were starting to suffer a little bit on the ammo department, but we didn't feel the need to really run out and try to get any kind of ammo. A few times you'll see me sort of flip-flopping between my primary and secondary. Of course, remember guys, it's always an option to switch the type of weapon, so if you have something else just sitting in your bag that's actually viable for your build, go ahead and switch it. It's free ammo. Now, as everything just keeps moving along, we're getting our little final waves of chungas. There was a couple of little reses that did go out. But of course, like, as you can see, there was never really a moment in which things were getting too hairy. The waves were moving along rather smoothly. Everybody was doing what they needed to do. And this strategy was so smooth. We're pretty much approaching the end of the line here. We did have one target that was just roaming around a little too far out of our reach, and eventually I know he does make his way back. We do finish that up. Here we have, that's pretty much the final wave, I believe, at this point. And we've already got the medic down. That was heal stationing. Everything is just really moving along easily. And quite frankly, no stress. We didn't have to run a healer. Super stress-free. Very much engaging. Still a nail biter because it is the new legendary. But everything went great with this corner strategy. It provided us everything that we needed, proper cover. It actually even bottlenecked the enemy for us. It really made them push across that bridge in front of me. And as I was being told by the others that were up above me, they were actually getting sort of pushed, but because they had to make their way up the ramp, and there was 3 of them there, nothing really ever got that far. The only time one person even got close to dying was because they took a quick little step towards the corpses to try to get some ammunition. And I do that a couple of times later on as we're approaching the end, just trying to give myself, quite frankly, my best weapon to put forward, which would have been my capacitor on this build. Alrighty, so here we're about 8 minutes into the final encounter, and like I was saying, everything was moving along really smoothly. We were approaching and did get to the actual like final wave-ish, and what ended up happening was we kind of missed a res, and we had miscounted the actual waves at this point. And there is that one really, really super sketchy wave that comes right towards the end. It's like the final 2 waves, and you get those rushers, right? So here they're about to come in, and they're coming in strong. And we had forgotten about that. So we kind of got caught a little bit off guard. We were starting to get too comfortable, too complacent. We let down our guard, and some things did start to get a little hairy. But of course, the situation is basically like all legendaries when they first come out. Until you've got that wave spawn really, really memorized, you're gonna run into little, I want to call them heart-stopper moments, where you're kind of just like, ooh, what's going to happen? But we have gone back in and utilized this strategy multiple times after this one, and it actually has gotten easier every time because we now know fully what the spawns are. Total time on this clearing of the ads alone was around 13 minutes this time. That did fluctuate depending on whether or not we killed the medics in a timely fashion. The faster we did get those guys down, the faster the encounter became. Of course, if one gets away here and there, it's not the end of the world. You are going to be able to get that cleared out pretty quickly. And like I mentioned earlier on in the video, the absolute benefit is the fact that it's just so much safer and so much smoother and just way easier and more comfortable and a better strat to run than what's being currently used. This is that moment where we had that final wave, and the droners in that final wave, they did get a little bit away from us. We were caught in a moment where we didn't even have turrets available, so it did result in me getting downed. But check this out. Final wave's about to come in. My boy LT comes down, gets in cover, pops that res, and as you can see, look, there's the med drone, and the med drone is there, and it's like, okay, whoa, what's going on? One of the droners, medic got away from us. What is happening? But here is the beauty of the strategy. That medic ended up just walking right to us. It had no choice. Our positioning causes the AI to just continuously bottleneck. So it did eventually pop its head up, and we took it right the hell out. Final little cleanup happens. I snagged some ammo. Very comfortably am able to snag some ammo. Help my boy out right here. And we're just mopping up at this point. Alrighty, so here we're finally at the very end of it. That final wave did take a little longer than we anticipated. The biggest issue with those later waves does become the ammo. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, you can switch your weapon and switch it to something like going from an AR to an LMG or an SMG or anything that you don't normally use. Doing this will give you a full capacity of ammo on your weapon. The other option is just have somebody that's running gunner. You know, a gunner in the group will keep that ammo flowing and you will be good. And pretty much here is the final kill. We've reached the very end. It was one little, I believe it was actually a medic that had ran away, was trying to hide, and we were just really focused on getting eyes on him. We didn't want to pop our heads out, obviously, because if we did and somebody made a mistake, it would have been GG. But now that we got the last target, we run around doing what you're supposed to do and just take out the turrets. As you can see there, I did get killed by the turret on my way to the ammo crate. I didn't realize that the turret could actually get you behind that particular spot. So in case you didn't know it, there it is. That box is not good cover for you. We got our ammo, got in position. Now, as you'll probably see in the video, the first one did take us quite some time to kill. Now, that was because we were still using our builds as we had utilized them for the ads. When we get to the next turret, I actually do go ahead and switch from my capacitor to utilizing the Ravenous. Now, that actually did significantly more damage, and everyone was able to really just mow down the second turret. Then I had like a little moment where it was like, Eureka! Let me go ahead and equip my pulse as well, my Achilles pulse. And you'll see in the video that the final turret does get burned down astronomically fast. So definitely huge. Those two things do make a significant difference. So keep that in mind. Alrighty, y'all, so we're pretty much coming to an end here. Once I made those switches with those skills and the weapon, the turrets do go down pretty quickly. So overall, much smoother run. So hope you guys like it and use the strat. Bye.